Hey everyone, I'm Wa.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to DocuSweeties.
We're two longtime friends to discuss the riveting and sometimes trashy world of reality TV and docuseries.
Yes, but through our own lens, honey, which I mean can be a little bulgogi, can be a little Korean barbecue, can be a little Thai curry, can be a little Japanese
Green tea,
yums. hmm
Indian curry.
Yeah, it can be so many things, but at the end of the day, hopefully mildly sweet, like maybe like a little mango sorbet.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys for joining us as we discuss 90 Day Fiancé. We are towing it as season 4, episode 14. Winds do not blow.
Once the sun rises.
I am so over these weird Pocahontas poem titles that they've been trying to give us. Like they are just, yeah, like they've really leaned into this certain theme. And I'm just like, all right, well, you know, doesn't make any sense. It's just like four words together. It's like AI. I feel like, are these AI titles that they just like put in Pocahontas poems, and AI is like winds do not blow,
Not
clouds in
Pocahontas.
the sky, dirt in the air. It's just like, all right, loves.
Dances with wolves.
Yeah, exactly. Love is not here. It's just like, what are you talking? Just, I'm done. So, having said that, we're going to get right in. We have a great episode in the sense that, we're going to talk about it and we have some fun things here and there. And we also have some after tea.
After tea. You
Okay.
know?
Yeah.
So let's start out with, I think, Gabe and Isabel. So, wherein Gabe talks too much. I mean, he just gives all the business and it's all the wrong business to give. It's like he doesn't understand what sets Monica off. He doesn't know his sister. It's very weird.
It feels like they have, he uses the words alpha females. It feels like his sister has maybe a little like ownership over him. Obviously, like, they're really close. And so he doesn't know how to have firm boundaries with her and stand up for himself in certain ways because probably the way they which they've treated each other their whole lives.
Yeah,
And
I
so
think it's more so that, sorry to cut you off, but I think it's more so that Gabe has put himself in a lot of precarious situations with different women he's dated,
mhm.
and he's vented to Monica about it. And what is your sibling going to do except not fight for you? Right? Like your sibling, especially if you're constantly dating women who are taking money from you, who are abusing you in some fashion or form, and then you confide into your sister. And what is she going to do? She's a stronger, has a stronger personality. She's going to stand up for you. And Gabe hasn't understood at this point that how he needs to talk to Monica. So instead of saying, I'm not going to ask Isabel for a prenup because I don't think that it's necessary. She's not going to use me for my money, and it's absurd. He tells her, "Oh, she's not going to like that."
Yes, 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 yes. And you're absolutely right. And I guess I see what you're saying, but I also want Gabe to sit in his own power to be like, don't worry, I have my relationship. This one I have on lock, or I don't need to share. I feel good in the decisions I'm making. Don't worry. Because, here's the other thing. I'm someone who can give advice, right? That's unwarranted. And I can understand someone who's like, oh, I'm good. Or, like, in the tone in which he's saying things. So it's like, it is, but there's a lot of like, obviously, because I've known each other for a long time, a lot of like ways in which they've communicated that is back in the day as well. But yeah, obviously he's gone back to Colombia. So Isabel and him have had their, like reconnection. And they've always had such a romantic, sort of like sweet time that they're always so romantic and sweet together. She's always like, my love, and they always just seem so genuinely beautiful together. So, but yeah, when they go and talk, you know, that is when we also realize there's two things at play. Gabe has told Isabel that Monica is controlling. And meanwhile, he's letting Monica know that Isabel is controlling and that Gabe low-key afraid of her and or lets her run things for whatever reason. And so then Gabe then tells us, well, both women are alpha women, when it's like you're doing something and you aren't. It's like you are willingly not taking your own responsibility or accountability. You are happy to let these two women do things, and it's because you're not you you're neglecting to kind of like take it on yourself so that these two women don't have to feel anything towards each other, because there's kind of like a clarity of who is running the show with all their facilities, and it's you, like in your life, you know. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, Law?
Yeah, I do know what you're saying. He is orchestrating a
Mm-hmm.
bad show. He's
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
not doing what he needs to do in order to maintain things. It's like he expects Monica to be a different person than she is, and
Mm-hmm.
he hasn't learned how to get around Monica without making her seem like she's a bad person. Like a lot of things he says to her is negative. It's like, you're controlling, you do too much you shouldn't do, but you know she's going to do it. So then don't tell her
Mm-hmm.
or make her believe that Isabel is anything but a sweet, kind person and the best thing you've ever had. And so different from any other person you've ever been in a relationship with. It's like he blames Monica for the reason why his other relationships didn't work. It feels like, oh, Monica had something to
Mm.
do with that. And I'm like, no, I don't think that's true.
Yeah, because Monica would blame those other women for being
Yeah.
bad.
She would
Okay,
blame
so
us. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, which is interesting. And then it's like, what was I going to say? Oh, also this. Not only did Gabe not tell Monica nor his mom that he's engaged, but I also wondered, why haven't you told Monica and or your mom how much Isabel has helped you with your business here, and how lost without her you are, in a sense of, so they don't feel like protective of your business and or money, because they feel like she is only too happy to uh, let it make it grow by her own sweat and tears and toil as much as you, and you are building something together. Like why hasn't kind of those things been communicated? Therefore you would have more security in even talking about your relationship with them. But he wants to blame her, like, because of this and this and this, and yeah, it makes you feel like, but what have you done? What have you done to like protect things, and what have you done to make people feel secure in the decisions that you've made?
Yeah, control the narrative. You need to be the person, that Monica needs you to be and the person that Isabel needs you to be.
Hmm.
So she picks him up from the airport. It's a lot of kissing, like Chris said, a lot of sweet times. And then he says, my sister's coming, and that gets Isabel kind of nervous. Then the next scene that we have is them going to the airport to pick Isabel, not to pick up the
Gabe's family.
Gabe's family, right?
Yeah, and it's just, 10 time 3 days till the wedding, so it's like it's a happening. So and now we're also going to see that Gabe's mother comes, Gabe's sister comes, and Gabe's sister's boyfriend comes,
Yeah, the person with
who
the
is
tattoo.
who's tall, and definitely doesn't talk much in this relationship.
Yeah. And so they picked him up from the airport, and Isabel's already like nervous but also gonna stand her ground. And I thought this is kind of a like not the best thing to have, because she's like, it's my wedding, I don't want Monica to ruin my wedding, and so I have to talk to her. They
Hmm.
get in the car, and Isabel feels like Monica is trying to make her feel bad for not speaking English. And I agree. The
Yeah,
fact that she's like, no English, and I'm like, no, Monica, don't be that person.
Monica, you're in Colombia right now.
Yeah. She never did.
You know speak Spanish? That's what I wrote down here. No, the better question is, why don't you speak a little Spanish? That is like every time she asked her that, like in her like kind of like pleading tone, and also like almost cannot believe that it's like that much. Like, you really don't even speak a little. Like every time I want to be like, you just take out the word English and you put in Spanish and you're talking to yourself, because it's crazy that you don't. And it's crazy that you're here right now. Like, you could have
Yes,
learned.
Isabella's not coming to the US, so why should she have to learn Spanish?
Yeah.
And so that was a little weird for me. And Gabe is having to do translation when he is barely speaking Spanish himself.
Yes.
So that was weird.
Yes.
And then she decided, Isabel, after they go to a little like lunch, the mom stays home because she's tired. and these guys go to lunch together, and Isabel and Monica are having a conversation, and Gabe can't handle it. Like, he just wants everyone to pretend to be happy. He wants everyone to pretend that nothing is wrong. And listen, I understand, Monica. It doesn't sit well on my chest to do that kind of behavior. Like, if something is awkward, I have to talk about it because otherwise I'm uncomfortable and then everything is fake and I don't like it. So go ahead.
No, but you know what, Gabe? I love you so much. You know, I really do have a lot of love for you, but I want to give everyone their fair shake. Boo, take the backpack off. Take it off. You don't need that. Where's that? Honey, were you in the locker? What are you, just like going from your locker to gym class? I mean, this isn't a high school, babe. Like, why is that there? And you also, yeah, like, you picked up your family from the airport. Like, you were not traveling. Like, you don't have to have a backpack. You look like you're 4 years old. And, like, come on. And also, I think it aligns with maybe a passive, immature kind of I don't know, nature in which I feel like he is allowing people to interfere in his life. And overall, I could use a little more of a matureness to come to you, especially since you're not just like getting married, but like now going to be like, raising definitely one kid. That other child that hurt, I mean, it definitely Isabel's daughter is already raised, you know? So it's like, like now that you're, let the kid have the backpack. Like, pass on that backpack to, is it Miguel?
Yeah. It's crazy
Yeah, go ahead.
because Isabel never has looked more like her father than in this photo right now. If you're on patreon.com/DocuSweeties, then you'd be able to see this photo that we are showing you right now. But yeah, Isabel takes the reins and has a conversation back and forth with Monica. And at the end of this conversation, Isabel ends up saying, like, me and Gabe are fine. And I don't know how close you guys must be if you don't know that. And I was like, shots fired. Bow, 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 bow. Like, she fully tells Monica, you don't know what's going on because I am not interested in his money. So, like, why would you even think that there's a prenup need? As soon as he said that my sister wants me to get a prenup and they're eating those tostones with those toppings, which I don't like, but they like it. I was like, oh, he done fucked up. This was wildly inappropriate. He should not have said this. And this is going to immediately put Isabel on the defensive because people who don't have money get really offended by prenups. People who do have money or something to lose or assets would never bat an eye at a prenup because it is the smartest thing to do when money is involved. What are you looking at? Show us.
No, I'm listening to with my head's down. I'm just like listening to you. And I was going to say, yeah, you're right. And also, it's definitely an American thing.
Yeah.
But we're so happy here, like it's just definitely it's a social economic thing, and it's also an American thing for sure. So, but even Gabe said that it makes him feel like it's doomed for failure. And the truth of the matter is, she is funny. Isabel's funny, which is like, what yachts, what homes? You're staying at my place right now. You make God bless. She's like, yeah, you have like a lovely gimmick with the dick pants, but like we're trying to make something. I feel like she's just like, yeah, okay. All
Yeah.
right. Yeah, it felt insulting to her. And also, it is because she's really been helping. And that was one of the first early scenes we saw them together, is like her really going into like a fabric store and just like running around and being like this and this and this, and definitely speaking all the Spanish and counting, like inches and stuff, while he's just like
frustrated, hasn't brought the stamps. And now, Chris, do you think that he brought the stamps this time? Did he bring the stamps? I mean, he went home. He might as well have brought it. And I need to know. It's a question that's burning on my mind. So
we've been talking about them for so long. It's so funny to like this. And we've never taken a break, just so you know. God bless.
Yeah, I think that's the end of this segment. So let's take a break. All right, you
What
guys.
a break. What a break.
That was crazy. Chris and I are really great at doing ads, don't you think? So next couple that we're going to talk about is Jen and Rishi. Let's just get to it. Let's just get to the nitty gritty, you guys. So Jen and Rishi, and it starts out with Jen in the car, and she's on her way to Rishi's house. They are packed like sardines in that car. and they're going with the interpreter to have the conversation with his family. And
Mhm,
truly,
mhm,
the gall of them to do this.
mhm, mhm.
And for very first scene we have is a gratuitous scene of a woman milking a goat. And I
Oh,
was very upset with it. It was gross. I was like, that looks like a penis.
yeah, yes, 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 and yes. But they also get there. They get there, and that translator is there, and it is so funny that to think that after all of the talking that they've had with Jen, to think that they've gone into this thing and they see this beautiful young Indian woman, and they just might be like, "Wow, Jen the fucking livered." Jen the fucking livered. Is she like Indian matchmaker? Come through, honey. They must have been like, this is what that show is. Jen must be an amazing, weird matchmaker. And we're on this show. And they found this girl. My God, what a dream. They walk in, the beautiful woman's like, hi, Auntie, which
Yes.
obviously is like cultural, she must be like,
Yes.
there she is. That's who I'm going to be able to retire. And like, that's who's going to make my chai tea and make the babies for my Rishi. Oh my God. Like, to think of in her mind what she was trying to put together. I just want you to
Yeah.
have that as well.
Yeah.
Now,
I mean, they
okay,
walked
that's
into this woman's house, didn't take off their shoes. Okay.
ah!
Shoes on in the house, Chris.
Okay.
I peeped it. Shoes on in the house. And then before they get there, Rishi's like, Mom, make tea. You making tea? You making chai? Okay, for 6 or 7 people. All right. And I'm like, Rishi, if you don't get your ass in this kitchen and make, and she's like, I'm
Mhm.
making it. I'm making it enough. I'm like, don't tell this woman how to make a thing that you don't even know how to make. The
Yeah.
audacity.
Yeah.
She fully sits down and serves these people so that
Mhm.
they can just, I mean,
Ruin her life.
listen, ruin her life. But I think that once it's all out, they probably are grateful that Jen did this because Rishi had like lied to them to the point where they are disappointed in him.
Mm. Now
So
they know. Now they know who their son and slash nephew is. And yeah, there was a great tweet that went out by a Twitter person named Ed's Neck that said Rishi's family has no idea how much tea is actually being served. And I mean, yeah, it's definitely more than 6 and 7 people. But basically, Jen sits down, she brings all the friends, they're all in their like jewel tone, blah blah blues. That one girl's like whole job is to be, interventionist, and what she decides to do and what they praise her for is bananas. We'll get into that. But anyway, then translator's there, Rishi meets a translator that's a little suspect because he's like, I'm usually the translator. So like already there, it's weird. But then immediately Jen's like, hi, so thanks for all coming here and meeting me back at your house. Whoa. Do you remember what we talked about? And the way you said, do you remember what we talked about before? Do you remember
it's
that?
like
It was like, first of all, I just had a regressive thought because I had to go to a lot of like psychiatric therapy sessions when my dad and my parents got divorced or whatever. And it's like that thing where it's like, do you remember what we talked about last week? Do you remember that, little girl? It's where your dad and your mommy no longer, it's like where I was like, this girl, of course, knows what you guys talked about. You were on TV. Like, yeah. She's like, yeah, I fucking
I remember that whole
remember.
thing.
I'll
Yeah,
regurgitate
my
it back to you verbatim, bitch. What?
yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
yeah, like I definitely remember that. And so she's like, "Okay, so exactly how many people? Like what happened?" She's like, "Oh, well, Rishi denied all of them. So it was like 2 to 4." And I'm in my mind I was suspicious like, "How the fuck do you not remember? Was it 3?" Like, was it 3? And that Rishi turned down everybody and it wasn't a serious like proposal. It was just like a an intro, if you will. And so she's like, "Oh my god, great." And she's had Botox and fillers. And so I'm going to say it and I'm not trying to be mean, but every time Jen has that plastered fake smile on her face, it's giving me Joker. It's just
Mm.
like
You know, she, I think, God bless. So, yeah, I just like, this is all happening, and I just like, I still love the idea that like, she's like can't wait for the ball to drop, the mom, you know, and like the translator is doing her best and the translator is waiting for the ball to drop. And then like out of the fucking blue, you know, Jen's friend, I forgot her name, I wrote it down 4 times and I still can't remember her name, is like, well, here's the thing.
Randy.
Randy, we're here to support our friend Jen, who actually is engaged within a relationship with Rishi. They've exchanged rings. Who now sits back and the poor translator has to be like, so your son is with this old lady in Hindu. You know, like, and so like really it's her doing all the work because, you know, yes, okay, listen. In life, normally if you have a professional communicator like an interventionalist, they are there to change the narrative, and the word choice is the word choice is impeccable if you do it right, because that's what it is. Like, it's about phrasing things. But when you are working with a translator, you have to just give all that up to whoever the translator wants to translate it. Now, that girl is great. She's a great translator, but you know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any goddamn sense. Anyway, so I want that. Okay, so having said that, the parents then have to like be like, what? This whole time? You've been lying to us? You've been with this woman? But immediately off confessional, they're like, we know we're on camera. We like can't really do anything. So they're like, well, I mean, all right, well, that's crazy because he lied to us. But if that's what he wants, that's what it is. What are we gonna say? And Jen's like, great, great. And Rishi's like, and they're all like, great job with the blonde. Wow, what a feat you've done. And the translator's like, you guys are fucking dumb. No. But I'm gonna get paid either way. So I will be clocking out. My job is done here, and I mean, you're gonna be paying for it. I just like this scene is so wild, and like also the audacity of them and everyone, the audacity of them thinking that they leave this scene and being like, well, it's crazy. They were down with it is also like hilarious, knowing they're on camera, you know, like knowing what we talked about. Anytime that they're going to spring a conversation like Isabel sprung supposedly, but if you believe that, the, you know, gay being trans conversation on her parents. So so then Rishi has his confessional where he's like, I guess it turned out well. I was kind of like weirded out that Jen would do that to me, and I was nervous. And he was nervous. I mean, at one point it looks like he's about to tear his face off with his own fingers. Like, and then somehow turn into someone or like just melt into the floor. I mean, what do you think? Oh, she's just on mute. So basically, no, she's still on
Back.
mute.
She is he is like grabbing the lower part of his face. He wants to rip his lips off this entire time. I know you have a picture of it. He wants to rip his fucking face off because he's like, yeah, what is that look? Because he does not know what is happening. Everything is completely out of his control. And Jen and her friends think that this is an amazing idea. And he knows where this is heading. But the thing is, though, he doesn't realize how frustrated Jen is truly. He just keeps saying, like, wait, it'll be the perfect time. And like he can't handle it. And then it's wild that they're like, oh, okay, your family was okay. And he was even kind of thinking his family was okay. Then they pulled him back in. Right. They were like, yeah, no. And then when he told them how old Jen was, I mean, their fucking hats flew off and their socks flew off. They were like, oh, everything is done. Like, oh no, absolutely not. You can't have kids. And this is why I was like kind of confused. I'm gonna show you the picture of Jen's face. Continue showing pictures. I'm gonna upload. Oh, it's gonna take me.
Okay, well, so basically, he is relieved at first, which I was right. I was wrong. He also, for some reason, doesn't know how his parents work. But he initially was obviously afraid to tell them until August, the date that person said. But anyway, so they didn't do that. They did this. They get in the car. They think they're all like, they're all like,
you don't think she looks like a Joker a little bit? She doesn't look like the Joker. Those of you on Patreon, she doesn't kind of look like the Joker to you.
She's living her life. So, um,
Okay,
I
okay.
just
Chris
love
says
the
no.
fact that they told her friend that she did a great job, and like he did it too. Like, wow, you did such a great job. Like, I'll just never get over that them like making that woman think that she's great at that.
And
I
gave her
want
a
to kill her.
hug. Gave her a hug. Yeah,
Yeah, I think that,
they were so pissed because he's like, she wants to live in Mumbai. And that's where he was like, oh shit's going left. She's like, I would like to live in Mumbai. And I'm like, why would you say that? You guys live in Jaipur. And
yeah,
you're
yeah,
telling his family that you want to take him away. It's like Jen doesn't
yeah.
truly understand that he's the breadwinner.
No, they
And
have to tell
so
him.
tell her, yeah, that like
Yeah.
that's gonna happen. And it's like, then they're like, what are we gonna do if you're not here? And
Hmm.
I don't know. Like, I don't know why it was just like a train wreck. And at this point, at this point, I'm like, okay, you need to find somebody else. Cause she does end up saying in this long thing, she ends up saying at that, to this person. She's like, good point. It is a 15 or 14-year age difference, but tomato, tomato. I'll never make Rishi choose ever. It's not fair. Don't you worry about that. I'm a reasonable person until you make me 2 years to tell your family and then to go all in. And then we go all in for all's fair in love and war. My friends are next level amazing. If Rishi made me choose between them and him, it would be so sad. But I'm confident that I'll find another man someday. And then it feels like she kind of forced him to make this post where he's like, guys, please do not do this because Jen is upset by the DMs. Now, here's the truth. For all of you crazy people out there who are actually DMing Jen, you are wild. The fact that you would DM a cast member of any of these reality shows and tell them how you feel about them is crazy because this show is scripted. And it's also like, can you just be grateful for the fact that they are showing you their lives? And if you aren't grateful for it, then just quit. Don't watch it anymore. But to DM somebody that you don't know because they put themselves on TV is crazy. DM, that's crazy. Now, if you comment on a post, on someone else's post, then like, on the blogger's post, that's fine, I guess, but it's weird. So one, he says, Jen has been coming to India since 2014. It's very familiar with the general and it's very familiar with general Indian culture. Two, when I proposed, I told her that my family was 100% fine with me choosing my own bride and we could live in our own place. Joint family, not necessary. So he's admitting in point number two that he fully blatantly lied to her. Three, regardless of when my family found out about the engagement, there would have been issues with the age difference. Her friends did me a favor. Four, please stop suggesting to Jen that, which is like not a four, it's like a 3B. You know what I'm saying? And then 4A, she is trying to change me slash culture. C, numbers 1 and 2. Or B, she should have learned from Ginny and Sumit. Why are people lumping all Indians, all Americans into the same category? Not all Indian people are the same, just like not all Americans are the same. And I was like, false. Most Americans are the same in their mentality when they go to a foreign country. I'm not saying all, I'm saying a lot of them, especially those who are not like traveled and learned. Okay, two, you and Sumit's and Jenny's situation is kind of the fucking same. So for you to say to stop comparing you guys to Ginny and Sumit is fucking weird because it's the same thing that your mother said. People are not going to accept this. The family is not going to go with it. Like they're going to make fun of us. And that's the exact fucking things not Rishma, I don't know her name. That's a fucking thing that Sumit's mother is saying. So it is the same. And here's the truth. Yes, Southern Americans and Northern Americans and Western Americans and Eastern Americans might be different, but there's a lot of similarities. So I'm not saying that all Indians are the same. I'm saying the situation between Jenny and Sumit and Rishi and Jen is fucking similar.
Mm-hmm. Just like this situation with Angela and Michael and Usman and baby girl Lisa, Kimberly, an unnamed third
New person.
white older woman who now will be on the next season with him. I'll tell you this right now. unless I don't know how old she is, but I think she's older. We'll have a conversation about whether she can have a kid, what it means for the family. She's gonna have to meet the mom. The mom's gonna have like be stoic about it. She's gonna have to talk about the culture. They're gonna have situations where he wants to be dominant because it's part of the culture, and she's gonna feel like she's an American woman and can't be bossed around. These are things that will happen. I am like, what am I like? I'm Nostradamus. I mean, I can tell you, I can
Yes.
see the future. I'm Sylvia Brown.
It's
Give
like
me
he
Sylvia
wanted
Brown. Give me
he,
Sylvia Brown.
he wanted us to agree that not all Americans are the same. And I'm like, yeah, they kind of are. And I'm not saying that we're all the same, but we're all the same when we leave the US. When we leave the US, we lose our fucking minds and we're mad about plumbing. We're upset about toilets. We we want privacy. We don't want to live in the familial home, and we want paved roads with a car. Like that is what we want.
Listen, he's not wrong, but here, so okay, so this is what happens. So they all leave. The women's like pat themselves in the back and they did such a great job and they did it, or whatever. And then this is the things that happen. But then, of course, the parents later are like, holy fucking shit, what? As we said, she's too old and absolutely fucking not. Let me just think. At first, the mom's like, let me just talk to other people. We didn't, and Rishi was like, wait, you just said yes. Like, no, we didn't say yes. We said we were going to talk to other people. And, and then they ask her how old he is. And then once they have an out, which is that she's that old, which I wish that Rishi had framed it to Jen like, yeah, Jen, my parents just thought you looked so good for your age. No, when they met you, honey, they thought that you were like, what, like only like 4 years older than me. But then I had to tell them how old you were, and they were like, oh, what's her skincare regimen? And she looks amazing. And then also, but she can't have her kids, and absolutely not. But like he should have framed it better. But that's on him, and he has to learn how to deal with women. But anyway, so I'm being a bitch. Okay, so then they're like, absolutely not. We'll get laughed at, we'll get made fun of, and you're fucking crazy, and what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
And then Rishi goes in and like cries in his hands, and in his hands he cries,
Mm-hmm. He cries in the room, and he's like, I knew that I should have waited until the most auspicious time in August to tell my family. It's like now he's like, she fucked it up. She should have said it on August 4th at 4 p.m. or August whatever at 4 p.m. Because he's like, they won't let me do this. And I listen, he can't marry Jen. Jen doesn't want to live in the house and take over the wifely duties. He will be letting down generations of Rishians, and he can't do it.
It's just, I'll be honest. It's like, it's wild to me to know how your culture goes, because you've seen it, not only your family dynamics, but every one of your friends, to understand that your entire life you were waited on hand and foot by your parents under the unspoken contract that you are to get married, start a family, and then ease the burden of their life by taking care of them.
Yeah.
But what these men are saying is like, oh no, I'm gonna leave you guys to fend for yourselves and for the wolves and just die, and because you won't be able to do anything for yourselves. I'm just gonna like marry whoever the fuck I want. It's just like it's innately so selfish, on top of being, obviously a shocking choice usually.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that love shouldn't conquer all, but I just, like in Sumit's case, I guess I feel like this is where it differs. I think that Sumit really loves Jenny, and I don't really think that Jen and Rishi love each other. I just think they're in some weird lust. I don't know, like weird. I don't think they're together.
I think the difference for me is that Sumit has a brother who can take care of, and who is doing the marrying the Indian woman and having the child.
Yeah.
Whereas Rishi doesn't have any other option. He just has a sister, and that sister's already out of the house married. And it's just like, that's the thing. That's the difference. And I also feel like Sumit's parents are well off. And not to say that it doesn't mean that any of their sons around them, but I mean, like, they could hire people. So that's kind of what I was seeing in that. But you want to move on?
Yeah, I do.
All right. Next couple that we are going to talk about is Johan and Danielle. So Danielle, like hip sways into the home, and she's like, hello, and he doesn't respond because he's being an asshole. And she goes into the kitchen and she's like, Amor, ayúdame. And I'm thinking to myself, like, does she want help unbagging the groceries? Like, what's happening? What does
I
she want help with?
I thought it had to have been that she can't reach. No, like something high. She's like, "Ayúdame by putting away this, bottle of something up
Yeah.
there." You know?
But then this woman is like, come out, help me cook. And he's like, okay. And she's making something so foreign to him. She's making like pasta with camarones. And he's like, and he's like he's never eaten it. So he's like confused. And she's like, I want to talk to you. I feel like if I make him a meal, then he'll be more amiable. But I'm like, you're not making him a meal. He is helping you to make a meal. And she gets him to talk to agree to go meeting her ex boyfriend, not even her boyfriend, her ex lover.
Yeah.
And he agrees to go and do this thing and then proceeds to act a bloody fool. But this is her smashing up garlic.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I was like, "What are they?" Okay. So yeah, basically, she got him to basically be like, "Look, you have all your friends here. I have no one here at all. So I mean, I don't even have friends here. So if one comes, I have to be able to see. And then A and B, instead of you being jealous and you being like this, the answer is for you to be friends with my friends and for my I'm to be friends with your friends. And honestly, if you would just meet him, you would see that like there's nothing there. I don't want to be with him. He doesn't want to be with me. You just don't see it now, but once you get it, you'll totally get it. And he's like, "It's okay." So then he goes, meets this guy. And the minute the guy comes up, and I have all the pictures in my phone, but for some reason I didn't put them. I and then actually put the computer. But yeah, the minute that this guy comes up, like in his red little two-piece, Johan looks at him, sizes him up, and is like, I hate what he's wearing, and this guy um is
He's Im-
tall.
he's
He's
immediately
tall.
jealous. He's immediately jealous.
Yeah,
I
he's
think he's
tall. Wow,
immediately
he's like,
jealous because
yeah.
the guy is tall, he's athletic, he's American, and he's light
Mm.
skinned. Like I think there's a lot of things at play that like most folk who aren't, you know, black would understand that's going on. And he's like, he immediately is like, oh, I wouldn't want to wear that outfit. And I'm like, that guy looks cute. Like, so I'm like, he's being a hater. So whenever somebody's being a hater, it's jealousy to me. Like even when I'm being a hater, I'm like, damn, it's because I'm kind of jealous, you know? And so he proceeds to like ask questions, and this guy speaks no Espanol.
Yeah, Monica. All right, come through, Monica.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, you know what? It's not like he's in the Pueblo. You know what I mean? He's not in the ciudad. He's at the resort right now. He's on the beach. So okay, he doesn't need to speak Spanish. But I don't know, for whatever reason I thought he was like Cuban or Puerto Rican, but maybe he's like half white. And not to say that's not a reason for him to be able to speak Spanish. I just, you know, Miami, they spent time in Miami together. So in my mind, he was like Latino. But he gets there and he's like, yeah, you know, I don't speak Spanish. He's like such a like tall, jolly guy that he is not ready for Johan's pettiness with the size of the shoe, how tall he is, the size of his penis. And I mean, I think Danielle let it go on too long. As soon as he said, what size shoe do you wear? And said the thing about the penis, I would have been like, oh, we got to go.
Yeah, I think that Danielle started laughing at first, and then it kind of like hit her what was happening, and she started to be like, "Yeah, you are, you're asking questions just to humiliate me, and you want to do so because you feel insecure." Which I guess now she does call out what you said. She kind of is like, when you feel insecure, you want to put other people down. In this case, me, but also he was doing it to him, like you said, whatever, God bless. So, it's really awkward, and yeah, like they just are basically like, we don't want to be with each other. And Johan kind of takes it in and just like listens. It almost does feel like he kind of does understand in that moment what Danielle is saying, and that it kind of does hit him. Whether he's going to acquiesce the moment and be like, you're right, probably not, but like it does
Yeah.
feel like it does land, like she's like,
Yeah.
because of course if you're gonna be like, no fuck, she's saying two things. Like, A, like, I don't talk about our sex life in front of him. It's just incredibly rude, and like I'm not gonna do that as well. And also, it's just not a question you ask. No one would ask you like, well, how big's your dick? Like it's crazy. So he
But
does get it.
I think he truly feels like she's trying to make a fool of him. Like the reason why he's reacting this way is because he
Mm,
doesn't, maybe he truly doesn't understand how two people who used to have sex could
mm.
now be friends. And not just like used to have sex every once in a while, like used to live together for probably fucking all the time. And then this guy comes up, he's just as young as him, he's
Mm,
just as tall as him. You
mhm.
know what I'm saying? So he's like, oh, you want to make a fool of me, because I don't think Johan can imagine rolling up on some girl he used to fuck and meeting her husband. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's coming from a place of like truly feeling like she's belittling him, but once he realizes the situation, he's gone too far that he can't back out of it. And he's been asking her for what seems like days now to not go.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, yeah, definitely days, if not weeks, because of this show. But yeah. All right. So basically, I have nothing else to say about them. Do you want to move on?
Let's move on.
Okay, so let's move on to Debbie and Osama, which wow, we pick up, right after Usama while they're painting in the woods. Just kidding. Well, Usama's been like, this is what it is. We will go to America and I will get visa, or that's it. And that's it. And she's like, what? Like that was kind of our last moment of that. And we loved it so much. And then we get right pickup of his thought process, which is even more LOL, which is basically this: like, I will go to America with you, and we will open art studio where in America art is rained down upon money to artists, where it is so easy for artists to make money, unlike here. And we could give everyone in America is artists, and they make so much money, and so it's just like his idea also is like laughable. What's going to happen? And Debbie's looking at this, she's like, usually I'm the one that's delusional, but Bonnie, it's you, like
Yeah,
she's
she's literally like, she's like, I'm not marrying a guy who wants a visa. And he's just like, well, then it's not going to happen. And she's like, man, you're out of your mind. You're insane. You're creepy, dude. And he's like, I'm creepy. I'm bad. I'm stupid, motherfucker. And we're just like, what? Did she call you that? Did we miss that part of it? And she's like, well, take me home. And so they go to the house and she's like, call me a cab. I can't stay here with you. And he is just so cold to her. He really
yeah.
is very cold to her. And he
Well,
doesn't
you're a cold-hearted snake. Look into
look
his
into his
eyes.
eyes.
Oh,
Oh, he's been
he's
telling
telling
lies.
lies.
He's a
So that
lover boy at play. He
oh,
don't play by rules.
oh.
Oh,
He's
girl, don't be the fool now.
think about her doing all the kicks and all the dancing. We're gonna
You're
give
the
up
one
that
giving up
love.
the love
Oh,
every time
great
he
song.
needs it.
Oh,
Yeah, no, it's
so
like
yeah.
it is crazy. So she gets into the cab, and I imagine that he doesn't even help her with her bags. Like that's how petty he is. Like, listen, let me tell you right now. The fact that she's even entertaining at the end of this episode, or and then this, yeah, to be with him is wild to me, because I'm like, I don't care how mad you are helping me with my bags. You are opening the doors. I don't care. No.
Oh, I see what you're saying. No, if I was really mad at someone, I wouldn't let them touch me. Wouldn't let them touch my things. I'd be spitting on them. I think I'd be spitting on him. Oh, I just like you.
Spitting.
Yeah, no, I mean, no, I just be spitting, spitting, spitting. I just be so pissed. So yeah, he's disgusting. He like is like who? At first he says that he had told her they could live there, and then later on he tries to tell her at a confessional, no, who would? I told you we would live in America, right? And she's like, you're a liar. It's just like they're back and forth. This confessional is so crazy. But yeah, she gets to her other place and she says a bunch of beautiful things. But I just gotta read to you what things she said. She said, her heart was closed, but she opened the door, and a poem slipped through the door, and she was stupid enough to read it, and she'll never read another poem again from another person.
Yeah, I mean, he fully in his confessional said, I told Debbie that we would live in Morocco. And then in the confessional with him and her with that like, I don't know, Elizabethan like headband, she's like, that was never said. He's like, yes, saying that, you are a liar. And she's like, you're a liar. So it's like, which one was filmed first? Why is he trying to gaslight her and gaslight us? He's a crazy person, and she needs to run for the hills. And so then she next day she calls Julian and she's like, "Oh, hi Julian, it's Mama." And she's like, he's like, "Mom, I know who it is. You called me." And
I
she,
I'm dead. I'm dead. You just like saw her face. Like send mom. Julian. Oh
I mean,
God.
with his farmer's tan and everything, he's like, I mean, this man act. I mean, maybe he was in the army, maybe he was in some kind of military services, because the way he acts is like he's gonna call in the SEALs and they're gonna extract her.
He's a policeman and he's wearing a shirt in this scene that says America, like a South Park.
He's
Like
still wearing that shirt. I didn't notice it because he wore it when he dropped her off at the airport. So he
loves that
wore it
shirt.
again on camera. This
It's his
guy's
best shirt.
crazy.
It's his best shirt.
This guy's crazy.
So, yeah, so that is really the end of them or whatever. Except that, well, yeah, at some point he said, okay, sorry, I forgot to say, it's not the end of them because then you're right. You had mentioned this, but let's just bring it back to around the last scene. Is then after this, we're like, oh, thank God, Debbie, like get the fuck out, And then Osama calls her and is like, I want to talk. I don't want that to be the last, like conversation we've had. I want, and sometimes, I'm too emotional. And then she decides to like
Yeah.
even see him again, which is also like, what? Why?
Yeah.
After had he said that to you, after he said, like, how could? Do you remember that happen, babe? Like, we haven't been seeing you drink, right? Like, what? Like, like, is the how? I mean,
Yeah. Dr.
how's that?
Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, she calls him, and he gets like this at night. And he's like, I don't want it. She's like, well, we gotta I have to believe that love will win or something. She says something like that. And I was like, oh God, Debbie, you're too grown for this. And because she says, man, I miss my best friend. She's like, it's not even about the physical relationship, which I was like, talk us more about the physical relationship. Is it actually happening?
What
But
physical relationship?
yeah. And she's like, he's my best friend. It's like, that's the guy who talks to her every day and responds to her text messages. And I'm like, listen, a man who responds to my text messages has my heart. And I think I would give that guy a chance too, because guess what? He responds to me.
You know what though? I would love there to be like an actual thing where it was like revealed that it was never him like the whole time, like texting, like, and it was just like someone else, just like someone else that would just have access to his phone, that could just like grab it. You just like use a little pause to do a little like tic tacs. Anyway, so
He really thinks that someone's gonna buy that piece of art. It's
I
so
know it.
interesting that he
I know
thinks
it.
like America, they respect art, but there's no money in it. I'm like, there's no money here, Osama. It's crazy that you think you're gonna just go there and create art.
Here's the thing, but men feed off of the audacity. Their audacity feeds off of, unfortunately, whatever validation they're given in life, and they're given a lot. Like even in this moment, he's been given validation by Debbie, who's an angelic human who's been like, "Wow, Osama, you're so talented in your poetry." And so now this man thinks that he's a brilliant poet in English, and we know that's not true. He probably wrote the title of this episode, "Winds Do Not Blow." You know what I'm saying? Like, so many men were fed on the love and validation by their mom and by unfortunate, insecure, unseasoned people that give in order to receive, but they never receive what they give. And a taker like Osama can only give maybe some pets to a kitty, and that's it. He's
Yeah.
always petting his own ego. I hate him. Some people look as ugly on the outside as they do on the inside. He's as crazy. Each one of those googly cookie monster eyes, like that's what's happening on the inside, honey. It's just like, one brain cell tinkering and tankering and bouncing off another. I just, wooly looly. I just can't. He doesn't deserve anything. He doesn't deserve it all. So last couple is Mahmoud and Nicole.
Okay, let me just play my video of Mahmoud and Nicole. You guys, this is what somebody scoped out on Reddit, and you tell me if you see it. Look in the left-hand corner or right-hand corner. I don't know I don't know. This hand. No, on your side it's this hand. This hand? I don't know. Here we go.
This hand.
Look in the back. Is that Nicole? Is that Nicole?
It happens
behind the man in the shirt. Is that Nicole? Behind the man in the blue shirt. Is that Nicole? That's Nicole. I mean, it has to be her. Because who else in Egypt has that exact same haircut and would be in the background?
Okay, it's so crazy. It's so crazy. I know. Wow, loves it. This is like the deep dive we did. Look at us doing it.
Oh.
2020
And if you're watching on
style
patreon.com,
investigative
you can see what
reporting. Yeah.
um
Thank you, 90 Day the Mel was that 90 Day the Melanated Way that put up
yeah,
that?
90 Day Melanated Way put it up.
Thank you.
Yes, so follow her on Instagram, 90 Day the Melanated Way. And yes, so we start off with Mahmoud, I believe, going to see his brother Ahmed, and they're going to play dominoes. Isn't it so interesting that we play dominoes in the US? We play dominoes in like the Dominican Republic and Cuba, and I'm sure in South America somewhere, and they play dominoes in Egypt. Now, I wonder if it's the same rules.
Right.
Who knows?
Yeah, I don't play dominoes. It's so funny because when I see stuff like men playing across each other in Arab lands, I always think it's going to be backgammon, like because I'm like so used to backgammon, but no, it's that they go to their local men's spot that has Wi-Fi and sports also sometimes plays. You know what doesn't
Yeah.
play? Women. That's
Yeah.
why it's a men's only spot. How could she have been in the back like that?
I mean, who else was it if it's not her? You're
Okay,
right.
that's another thing. But yeah, so now he sits down. I love his brother. It's so funny because his brother looks like a little rough and tumble, but his brother has such a like a melodic voice. But basically, he tells his brother, "What's up?" Like, yeah, she's over it. No, she's getting the BFE. She's getting the buck. Instead of like getting here, she's getting the buck fucking out of here. BFE Egypt. I don't know. God bless. I ruined that. But anyway, cut it out. Cut it out, Wall. But anyway, do the edit. So yeah, he's like she's done, and here's the other thing is that she also low key applied for that visa, and his brother's like, "What? You there in America? You? I mean, buddy, have you seen yourself? Have you? I don't even know. Like, you look crazy on camera now, and you're here. Like, what the hell are you gonna be like there? The minute that you touch ground, you're gonna like your head's gonna be spun around, buddy. Like, I'm not trying to like talk you out of it because, like, I'm just like your big brother and trying to like give you some advice, which is don't fucking go. You're crazy. You'll not. It might be good for you. you know.
Yeah, but he went to China, and I still want to know why, and I still want to know for how long. So, like, and also, did he speak Mandarin? So, I want to know like what that situation is. But like, one, I want you to explain what Ahmed is eating, and two, no two brothers could look more like nothing alike than these two people. Also, his teeth are like,
That's some problems. Some problems.
yeah, it's just like Osama to me, and I can't. It's a lot going on. Okay, explain what he's eating.
Okay. So he's eating what looks like koshery, and the bowl it looks like this, but like or like even small like a frozen yogurt bowl, but I feel like it's koshery, and I'm just seeing a moment what looks like the macaroni noodle and maybe like a red sauce over it with like some toppings and fixings. So they're in Egypt, and it's a street food. So that's my guess. That's my
Mm-hmm.
educated guess. I'm also for a moment in my life, I worked at an Egyptian restaurant
You did?
named Cafe Dahab. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I spell koshari. Do you know? See? Okay.
Koshari. Koshari. I'm
I
saying, I
didn't
mean, there's something way you say Koshari, like
I
that.
didn't know you at all worked at a Egyptian place. Like I feel like I know all about your life. Like,
No, there's a lot of secrets.
wow, that's like
There's a lot
crazy
of
to me. Like,
you can go a whole lifetime without knowing me, Wah.
I can't. I don't think I can.
No, there's a
Okay.
lot of mysteries. There's a lot of things you don't know I keep to my heart. No, I'm not someone who just wears their heart on their sleeve. No, I keep everything in. I hardly ever express myself or even talk about my emotions. I'm much like TC from Life After Lockup. It's very hard for me
Mm.
to really ever express anything. Well,
Express yourself. You got to make him.
mm.
Okay.
So basically, the brother does the brothery thing. I love the brother so much. Like, I really love this brother. Like, I feel like he does such a good job. He thinks his younger brother is incredibly sheltered and incredibly immature.
Yeah.
We've been feeling that. We're like, he has literally looked at camera and been like, "Look, guys, you have to understand. It's his first woman, first time. You have to, okay, not you." Like, there's a part of him that feels like wants to take care of his brother, protect his brother because he you know thinks his brother
He's an innocent
isn't as worldly, and maybe is a little innocent and whatnot. So, and that he hasn't maybe lived like other people have, and maybe who even watch the show. I
Yeah.
don't know. I just like love this brother anyway. But basically, Mahmoud's like, I'm gonna be honest. I don't want to go. No, I've never wanted to go. Okay, I don't want to go, but I love her, and this is like what, the 14th time? No, just kidding. Like the second time that she's tried to move here. It would be fucking bananas selfish of me
Yeah.
to not try. I mean,
Yeah. And I love that he said that.
yeah.
Yeah. It was the thing you say when you love somebody. Like it's wild for me to not try. So I was like, all right, then go.
Yeah, and if you are, shout out to Renee, you're like, oh, this is what they've been planning the whole time, honey. This brings us right to where we've always wanted to be.
Yeah.
Right onto a regular old brand new season of 90
90
Day
Day
Fiancé.
Fiancé.
So, yeah, I mean, I really like their storyline. I don't think that it doesn't feel that contrived or overly produced, but at the same time, I love a new couple and they really gave it to me. So, and I want the brother to somehow come and bring the brother's wife. Just, can we have the whole family? That's the family I want. So.
Yeah, but he's going to hate the States. Especially I think he's going to hate LA.
Oh, for sure, these worsies. I'm like, what's better for them? Back to the Appalachian Mountains, like don't go to LA, because yeah, he's like, the brother's like, okay, so you think that, you're having problems with her here and what she's going to wear here. And she's like, whatever, like when she gets to America, she's going to wear whatever she wants. I mean, she's like doing you services now in this moment with her, like, long sleeves and whatnot, but she's going to get back to America. It's going to be all like cutoffs and jorts. There's gonna be a lot of jorts.
And say again where you said that they should live because you cut off. Appalachian Mountains, you said?
Yeah, I feel like, isn't Nicole originally from, I thought she said the Appalachian Mountains, like the
I thought
Appalachian
she was like from Iowa or Idaho.
Did she say the Rocky Mountains? I gotta look and see what I'm gonna like,
Rocky
what mountain range?
Denver.
That's where I know. I'm like, did she say listen. We got to go back and we'll do our due diligence. But if they're on the next season, I'll be happy about it. And I want the brother too. Anyway, yeah, that's all we have for this episode.
Yes.
However, we've been doing, a lot of social media. We've been doing a lot of fun things. If you want to see it all, make sure that you're following us on our socials. It's at DocuSweeties on Instagram, at DocuSweeties on TikTok, and at DocuSweeties1 on Twitter. And at the same time, we've been putting up pictures. We've been talking. We've been showing videos. We've been doing so much for you to visually see, as well as serving face. And wow, how do they see it?
You could do so by joining us on patreon.com at patreon.com/DocuSweeties. And it's $10 a month. You get the visuals of what you're listening to right now. We go live every first Monday of the month, which we did earlier today. And you get some extra content. You get it immediately after we finish filming it. And then, then it goes out to the public. But Chris and I are like working on some things. In a couple months, we'll have some more stuff, once we're not all crazy busy, So we appreciate you guys who are our patrons supporting us. We thank you so much for your support. It makes it, so enjoyable to talk to you guys on Patreon. So join us there for that conversation. Otherwise, we will talk to you later. You guys, bye.
Bye.